edition of the I Prefer the 80s and 90s Sports podcast where I, Richard Harris Jr., talk about why I prefer the sports of the 80s and 90s to the sports of today. Wow. Last night in the association, as they call the NBA, Enye Bay, the Lakers defeated the Phoenix Suns. And in the game, LeBron James scored 30 points. He had 10 rebounds. He had 5 steals. He was everywhere. He was electric. And I am on a site called something to do with the NBA. I don't remember the name of the site now. It's off the top. I forgot the site now. But it's like an NBA Today type site where people log on and they talk about the NBA. And the person who posted what he posted immediately posted a picture of LeBron commenting. And then basically his comment was, at age 38, for him to still be doing this is absolutely amazing. Oh my gracious. And I never laughed so hard in my life. I got to go Dr. Phil style with my voice for this because I couldn't believe what he wrote. And so we started to debate it. And then all of a sudden, he starts to break in about how hard it must be and is for a man that old to be able to run up and down the court without pain, injury, or whatever. And how he's just giving me all kinds of bull about the body. And whether he's a doctor or not, or whatever, doesn't really matter. Because the fact of the matter is 38 years old today is not 38 years old when I turned 38 17 years ago. And number one. Number two, now technically, somebody will say, whoa, that's the difference. 38 is 38. No. 38 in sports today is different from 38 in sports in yesteryear because of several thousand reasons. I'll give you 5 off the top of my head. Number one, the equipment today is better. Number two, there is no physicality in any of the games. You can't touch nobody in football. You can't touch a quarterback. That's why Brady played for 40 till he was 43. Aaron Rodgers is playing at 40. Got hurt by the turf. You can't, you can't touch receivers going across the middle. 5 yards was the rule back in the day. Today, the officials don't even know what pass interference is. They don't know what unnecessary roughness is. They make random stupid calls. If you apply weight on somebody, if you lay on them in football, that's a 15-yard penalty. Well, how the hell else are you supposed to bring them down if you don't get to put no weight on them? I don't know. But that's the way the games are played today. Number 3, physical fitness is better. Someone said, I don't think it was him, but someone said in the comments that in the NBA back in the day, JJ Redick said this on TV last year, well, earlier this year. He said that in the 60s and the 50s, that there was plumbers and carpenters and bus drivers playing in the NBA. Because in the NBA back in those days, they weren't getting paid $40 million a season or $60 million a season or $50 million a season or $1 million a season or $100,000 a season. And so that's another reason why things are better today than they were back in the 60s and 70s and in the 80s and 90s, excuse me. Also, most of these leagues today are African American centric. And how do you say that makes the games better? Well, the athleticism is better because they're faster, they're stronger, they're bigger. And so back in the 80s and 90s, yeah, we started to have an influx of it. No offense to my white brethren, there's not as many of y'all as athletic, as fast as there are African American players in sports. So sports have changed because of the speed of the game. Think about that for a second. Since what? Late 70s, 80s? Ain't too many white 100-meter champions in the Olympics, are there? Ain't too many white 200-meter champions in the Olympics anymore, are there? Ain't too many white 400-meter champions in the Olympics anymore, are they? 110 meters, are they? No. The brothers are dominating all the speed sports. So it means that your sport is going to be a little faster at every level. Football. How many white receivers are playing football? You can name them all because that's how many they are. You could say Cooper Kupp. You could say Adam Thielen right off the top of your head. Can't think of anybody else, can you? Think long and hard. Athletes have changed, thus making the sport a lot easier to play because guess what? Wait for it, wait for it. If you can't catch them, you can't hurt them. You can't hit them. You can't touch them. And so that has made sports easier to play today because it's easy to play when Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike can't touch you. And lastly and finally, the rules. The rules of the sports have all changed. You got time restrictions, baseball and tennis. You got equipment things in golf, basketball rules. You can't play zone. You can't hand check. Yes, in the 80s it started, but in the 70s, think about that. Hand checking. You used to be able to hand check in basketball. Can't do that much anymore at all. So my man is trying to tell me that LeBron's accomplishments are so extraordinary because as a 38-year-old, he is doing this, that, and the other thing. I laugh because the rules of today's game allow him to succeed. His speed. LeBron was a wide receiver in high school. He was fast. Could have played at Ohio State. Chose basketball. He could run. He fast. His physicality. You see his commercials, he's lifting weights. He's built like a tank. How could you criticize someone who's built like that? Physically, he's bigger and stronger than almost everybody in the league, except for maybe Joel Embiid. That if he ran into you, you're going to get hurt, not him. So they're not physical with him because they can't hurt him. They can't touch him. Another rule. So I don't get it how somebody could sit there and say, but that man said, because it makes no sense. Now, my peeve and why this got me up in the uproar. In the 90s, the Lakers started to get a little bit better. And then in the early 2000s, the Lakers started to go for championships. Now, I was working at Baja Cantina restaurant located on Washington Boulevard in Venice Beach, California, and I was watching a playoff game between Utah Jazz and the Los Angeles Lakers. And it was late in the game, and the Lakers were down, and the ball came to Kobe Bean Bryant. May he rest in peace. And Kobe Bean shot an air ball. Lakers got the chance again. Lakers got the ball back to Kobe again for the win. Shot an air ball. And I remember sitting at the bar, because I'm not a Laker fan, so I made commentary about, the Lakers lost. And somebody came up to me in the restaurant and said, he's 19 years old. What do you expect? He's 19 years old. And I said right to his face, if you're going to praise him when he makes the shots as a 19-year-old, then you got to be able to condemn him when he misses. And if you can't do that, then don't talk to me about sports. Because if you can't see the picture, if you can't see what I see, which is if a player is on the field to perform, his responsibility is to perform. Period. I don't care if he is one-armed, if he's a woman. I don't care if she's a woman. I don't care if he gay. I don't care if he right-handed, left-handed, wears size 26 shoe. If he has the ball or she has the ball in her hand to score, to perform, my expectation as a fan is for them to perform and score. Period. Don't feed me age. Don't say he was 19. I don't care if he's 19. If he's 19 and you don't trust him, why the hell is he on the floor? Why the hell is he in the game? Same thing with a 38-year-old. If LeBron misses some free throws at the end of the game, or if the people are driving past him like they were and do in every game, I don't say it's because he's 38. I say because they better than him. Or I say LeBron might say to himself, all right, fool, you drove past me, but when you get to the rim, I'm going to block your shot. All right, fool, you may have driven past me, but when I get the ball, I'm going to drive past you. I ain't crying about his age. I ain't saying nothing about his age. And so it disgusts me and bothers me about today's sports that everyone is a trophy winner. Everyone, doesn't matter what happens. Sports Center today acknowledges, excuse me, I told y'all when I'm speaking the truth, my voice goes, or you start hearing drilling outside or fire hydrants, fire sirens, or whatever. My point is, everybody gets a trophy. They say, Sacramento Kings beat New Orleans 134 to 117, but Zion Williamson scored 39, 15, and 11. Who cares if Zion Williamson scored 39, 15, and 11 when they lose? That's the difference between today and yesterday. In the 80s and the 90s, if Michael scored 49, 11, and 9, and the Bulls lost at the end of the game in the press conference, Mike would say, we lost. Yeah, I had a nice game, but we lost. Period. Today, I got fools who say the Lakers lose 124, 123, but Anthony Davis scored 46, 11, and 6. And say, well, Anthony Davis is always hurt, so therefore the fact that he's on the floor is more of importance than his points. Or LeBron, he's 38. That's why they lost. If he was 36, he might have hit that shot. I don't care. And nobody should care. And that's the thing that drives me the craziest about today's generation of sports and their sports fans. And there's even men my age that think this way too. Some man told me a few weeks ago, he said, we're talking about my new travel agency, Flam Flam Sports Travel, and we're talking about LA, and he's talking about the Lakers, and I'm like, I'm not a Laker fan. And he's like, 17-time champion Lakers, you know? I'm like, 17-time champion? Who cares? At the time, they had lost 11 straight games to the Clippers. And that's all I wanted to bring up. I said, they've lost 11 straight games to the Clippers. Beat the Clippers first, and then I'll shut my mouth about the Lakers talk. And he laughed and he said, when y'all win a championship, talk to me. That's fine. That's good banter. But I don't live in the past. I live in the now. I live in the reality world of sports. And I feel like people my age or people who watch sports today, they just want to put a positive spin on everything. And sometimes it ain't needed. Sometimes you just got to simply say, the Giants suck. Sometimes you simply got to say, the Mets suck. Sometimes you simply just got to say, the Angels suck. Simple. I'm fans of all those teams. And I can look them all in the face and say, without equivocation, we suck. We have all the supposed talent in the world, and we still don't win. For the Angels to have Ohtani, Mike Trout, Anthony Rendon, who, if you added up their salaries, well, Ohtani didn't make any money, but he's going to make some money this offseason. But if you add Rendon and Trout's salaries and the expected salary of Ohtani, it's almost $1 billion. And they suck. You look at the Mets, they gave Nimmo, they gave Lindor, they gave Scherzer, they gave Verlander all this money last season before they traded everybody. And guess what? We sucked. I didn't make an excuse that Mad Max is 39 and Verlander's almost the same age. I don't care. Verlander was starting to pitch better, and all of a sudden the Mets traded him back to Houston, where he pitched great. So stop bringing up the age thing for LeBron. Kevin Durant's 35, and he's still giving buckets. And you know what his argument was? He said back to me, he goes, well, when LeBron was 19, he scored points against Gary Payton, who was the defensive player of the year. But I'm like, LeBron is 6'8". All he has to do is turn and shoot over him. Stop making excuses for whatever. If the Lakers don't win the championship, it's because LeBron's 39. Tom Brady retired from football because he's 43. Tiger's 47. Gonna be 48 in 2 weeks. He doesn't win a tournament because he's old. It can never be because somebody is just better. It can never be that he wasn't good enough that day. There's always got to be some stupid ass excuse. And that ticks me off. People will just let it go. No. It's not a let it go situation because this generation says that the athletes today are the greatest ever. And they're not. They're not. I'll say it again. They are not. I promise you, this idiot who said that Serena couldn't handle Swiatek's pace and she retired at the right time. How stupid is that? Seriously. Swiatek is a good player. I'm not going to disrespect her and say she's not a great player. But to say that about Serena, to say that about anybody, to me makes no sense. And I don't understand it. I never heard. Then someone brought up the fact that, you know, that Michael Jordan in 2001 and 2002 only averaged 20 points a game. And I was just like, oh my God. He was in his, 15th season of playing. He was on a bad team. He wasn't the same player. Simple. As you get older, you're supposed to get worse, not supposed to get better. And those who get better are the greats of our sport, are people that are mythical in sports. For Phil Mickelson to win a major tournament at 50 is extraordinary. But that goes to what I said as to one of the reasons why sports today is what it is today. Because the equipment is better. For Tiger Woods to still want to be competing at golf after having car accidents and all the things that have crushed his career. Some of it is, yeah, because he still feels he can still compete against these younger players. He's not saying after any tournament that he plays, well, I didn't win because I'm 46, because I'm 47. He's saying I didn't win because I didn't play well. And that's my point. Don't throw it in my face that someone is a certain age. I don't care how old they are. If someone's on my television to perform, damn it, I expect them to perform. And if they don't perform, I expect them to say, you know what? The game has gotten me. I ain't as good as I was. Stand there in front of people like John Elway did at age 40 and start crying and say, I physically can't do it no more. I gotta quit. Simple. But don't you dare throw your age or have people throw your age in my face. Look, I told you earlier in a text, LeBron sent me a post on Twitter showing him doing a reverse dunk to let me know that he could still dunk. If he's on the court to play, he's gonna play. So just let him play.